It's currently pouring buckets outside. Forgot about that when I said I was gonna record today. So, this is my August wrap up. I read 15 books. 15! Compared to, let's see, July? Yeah, July. um, I read 15 books, compared to July, which I only read 7. I read the 7 booktubeathon books, and I guess I'm out of my reading slump, which is amazing. I It feels good to be reading again like I used to. Um, so I guess I'm gonna go through the books that I read this month. Um, they're not in order. I've kind of separated them, but a lot of these were arcs, and I think, yeah, only 3 weren't arcs, and those 3 are longlisted for the Man Booker Prize. So I read Swing Time, Exit West, and The Underground Railroad. I do think I want to read at least one more from the long list. Those are really good. I don't want to pick favorites. They were all great in their own way. Exit West and The Underground Railroad. They were so good. So good. They really brought like a interesting element to it. Exit West more magical, Underground Railroad more literal. But I mean, what little kid, when they heard Underground Railroad about the Underground Railroad in the 1800s, didn't think of like a subway? Underground Railroad. It wasn't actually. But in this book, it is. And I love that. Like, I saw that description, I'm like, I need to read this. Because that's what I thought when I was little. Who didn't think that there was an actual Underground Railroad when they heard that? When they were like, 10, 11. You're a little kid. Of course you're gonna think it's literal. I mean, Labor Day just passed when I was little. I thought that meant that's the day that all moms go into labor. What did my little brain know? Apparently not that. But yeah, so those 3 are really great. I see why they were longlisted. I'm hoping they will all be shortlisted. I still need to read some of the others, but they were really, really good. And I'm biased. I'm very picky about the books I read. So when I do read a book, it's usually because I've read and I've kind of researched, I've looked through other people's reviews. But for the most part, like, I won't even pick up a book if I'm not interested, or if someone I trust has said that they didn't like it or they didn't get into it. Maybe I'm depriving myself of a read I could potentially like, but I don't know. But yeah, so I pick the books that I want to read. So that really comes into play with all these arcs that I requested. And a couple of them I think were download now arcs or advanced reader copies, but a lot of them I had to request, and I'm like, fingers crossed. I said in my ARC August video that I did a happy dance when I got approved for one. That is literal. I did actually do a dance, put my phone down, I got the notification email I was approved, and I did a dance. But when it comes to asking for advanced copies, I'm actively asking for books that I want to read. So usually they're gonna get a 5-star review from me, because I've looked into what they are. Some might get a 3, some might get a 4, but for the most part they get a 5. So let's see, the first advanced copy I read was A is for Asteroids, Z is for Zombies, a bedtime book about the coming apocalypse. So funny. I think in my ARC August video I said I had mentioned I had already read this. It's great. It's along the lines of go to sleep, like how it's a kid's book but not actually a kid's book. Oh man. It comes out soon. I believe in October. Yep, it comes out October 10th. Definitely add that to your to-be read list. It's hilarious. It's a short little thing, and it's a quick read, but it's funny. The illustrations are incredible. yeah. I guess kind of in line with that, I read the GOA Kid. This was The Goat with Many Coats, a true story of a little goat who found a new home. My face was hard eyes emoji the entire time I read this. The illustrations are adorable. The fact that this is a true story, like, you can look on their Instagram. I will link that below. Which is Goats of Anarchy. They're a rescue. They rescue more than goats, but goats are kind of their main focus, I suppose. I've been following their Instagram for a long time. You can see all of the goats they've rescued, and the goats are so cute. I love the little goats. But it's a true story. This goat was rescued, and it was tiny, and it needed a coat, and it got tons of coats. And this is such a cute book. The next book I read was Spin the Golden Lightbulb, the middle grade book. I loved it. I mean, there were some iffy, like the girl goes to a camp, and I think it was pushing a little too hard for it to be a camp as well as a competition, but it's still a great, empowering book for young girls. So that's just, I love that aspect of it. It's very all about being creative. Okay, before I get into the dark and adult books, I'm gonna go to The Organized Home. It's a Remodelista manual. It's a blog. I was like, okay, I could download this now. I need to organize my home, but a lot of the ideas as to how to organize your home I've seen before online, and it's like, okay, yeah, but when am I ever actually gonna do that? There were a lot of great resources though in the back, so I wouldn't discount this. I believe I gave it a 3-star on Goodreads. I'd probably have given it a 3.5 because it does have some really amazing resources. And there are some good ideas, and it's all in one place, so I like that about it. Let's stay with the nonfiction. One of the other books I read was Periods Gone Public, Taking a Stand for Menstrual Equity. In my ARC August, I said equality, not the title, same kind of concept, but it was very inclusive. It meant people who menstruate, access to healthcare, menstrual healthcare products, and, pads, tampons. They're not dirty words. It's a biological process that people who menstruate need. So it's a great read to inform yourself, or even if you already know all of this stuff, it's just really, really good information. Yeah, stars. See, I kind of jumped around on this list that I made before I started recording, but let's talk about those. Alright, so another book I read was The Librarian of Auschwitz. It's based on a true story. The original, this was translated to English, so the book was originally written in Spanish. It's been out. It's now been translated to English. It's amazing message of hope. It's very sad, like I said in my review that's posted on my blog on Goodreads. I believe in my last video, I think I was reading it while I did my ARC August video. It's incredibly sad, very depressing, because that's just very heavy material, but it's worth the read. And also, I love historical fiction. I know this is very, very rooted in fact, but historical fiction is potentially my favorite genre. I love a lot of different books, but a lot of historical fiction just kind of hooks me. So the next is Artemis, by the author of The Martian. This is the book that I put my phone down and did a happy dance, and it was well deserved. I know people are saying skip it and wait for the movie. It's like, no, read the book. It's amazing. It starts with Jazz Bashara is a criminal. It's like, she's a smuggler, and she lives on the moon. How could you not want to read that? It's very different from The Martian, but I loved it. It was so good. And it's very, very scientific. But not that The Martian wasn't scientific. He's growing potatoes. He's doing EVAs, our extravehicular activity, you know, spacesuit on. It's so good. So good. And it comes out the day before my birthday, so you can bet I'm getting that in hard copy. All of these are e-galleys that I've gotten, so they're all Kindle. The next book is The Golden House, and there's actually a conversation live tonight at 7:05. I'm hoping this video will be up before then, so you can go and watch that. I think that they might share the full conversation later, but the live broadcast starts 7:05 p.m. Eastern Time. As I'm saying that, it's 4 p.m. Eastern Time, so we'll see if I can record this fast enough and edit it to get that up. But The Golden House is Nero Golden and his 3 sons come to Manhattan. And it's the first day of Barack Obama's presidency. And that caught me, that synopsis. I'm like, I have to read this. And I'm seeing a lot of reviews that are, well, that people didn't like it, that it jumped around too much. This is a tangent, but when I was getting into it, it really reminded me of NCIS, where they do that, the cut screen with the black and white, and then you get into the story and you're like, oh, that's what it was about? It's kind of like that. You'll get a glimpse of something, and then as you get further, you find out what's going on. It's fascinating, and current, and an amazing read. Really, if you can get into it, I highly recommend you read it, and I'm going to be watching the conversation with the author at New York Public Library Live tonight. That's in about 3 hours from when I'm recording this, so we'll see if you see this before that. The next book I read, these aren't in any order, the next, it's on a list that I've typed up based on, is a poetry book, Take Me With You, and I really liked it. There were a lot of laugh out loud parts that shouldn't be, but I laughed because I connected with it, and that's always great. It was an e-arc, and that was on Kindle, and the formatting was a little difficult, but that'll be resolved when it's in print. I believe it doesn't come out. It's not out until February 2018. And I can't wait to actually be able to take this book with me, because I believe it is going to be a small book. I loved it. The poetry explores themes of love, gender, politics, sexuality, family, and forgiveness with stunning imagery and a fierce willingness to delve into the exploration of what it means to heal and to be different in this strange age. It's great. I adore it. And the cover, it's cute. It has a bike. I love biking, so. Yeah. The next one was also kind of worthy of a put my phone down and dance because I got approved moment. Dread Nation. Oh my gosh. Jane McKean was born 2 days before the dead began to walk the battlefields of Gettysburg and Chancellorsville, derailing the war between the states and changing America forever. I mean, reading this so shortly after, like 2 or 3 weeks after I'd read The Underground Railroad, it's kind of setting it in that same time period. Very different, but obviously very relevant to each other in the fact that it's set the same time period. Dread Nation. The main character is born 2 days before zombies start rising from Civil War battlefields. Oh my gosh. This was so good. She trains to be a zombie killer. I already want a movie of it. Of course, I already want a movie of most of these books that I've read. Because, yeah, Artemis, yeah, you better believe I'm going to want to see that movie. The Underground Railroad making a great movie. Exit West, I believe, has already been optioned to make a movie, so I'll be really curious to see how they do that. The Golden House would be another. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I want it to be a movie. Really bad. The next 2 are more adult novels, so like The Golden House. The Immortalists. The Immortalist comes out January 9th, 2018, so If you were told the date of your death, how would it shape your present? I'm gonna leave it at that. You can go look it up on Goodreads. I loved it. It was very, very inclusive. 4 siblings, and just the tale of these 4 siblings. I have five. No, I don't. I am the fifth sibling. I have 4 siblings, so this was one less than my family. But just that story of siblings and where this decision takes them and what they learn and what they learn about themselves. It's fascinating. I loved it. Couldn't put it down. Kind of really good book. And the last book, which it is the last book I read in August, was Future Home of the Living God. And I reviewed this on Goodreads, and let's see. It is very much reminiscent of The Handmaid's Tale, but that's mainly through religious references. This is more apocalyptic instead of let's take over the government kind of style. Evolution is regressing. So, that cat, it's a saber-toothed tiger looking thing. Human babies aren't being born. The main character is pregnant. This novel is written as a kind of a recording of events as a letter to her unborn child. And it's very interesting. It's very interesting. I don't think that it could have been done any other way. It's told as a diary to the main character. Her name is Cedar. She's Native American. Yeah, it's a really great read. These were all really amazing reads, and I'm so glad I got out of my slump. And let's see, I read 4 books this month. I am also currently reading 3 books. So, okay, so I read 15 books. I'm out of my reading slump, which I am loving. I'm loving reading so much again. And reading multiple books at once, that's not something I used to do. I would have to finish a book before starting another one. And now I'm reading 3 books at once. And I'm okay with that. And that's a huge thing for me. So I highly recommend trying it. Eventually I'd like to getting used to annotating my books, but I don't currently have books to annotate. I have library books and I have ebooks. So but yeah, so 15 books, and I hope to have another video. Today is Wednesday. Hopefully another video before next Wednesday. I'm not sure what it'll be, but I hope it will be. That was my August wrap-up. It's September 6th. I hope this isn't too late.